Warning. This video contains political satire and the scripts a part of this plot may be extremely, if not exceptionally disturbing to sensitive viewers and is only intended for mature audiences. Additionally, if politically biased, whether liberal or conservative, this might not be suitable, as this video is once again intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
전반적으로 초인적 레니가 우리의 소중한 대한민국을 훼손한 것은 이번이 두 번째입니다. 이번에는 강력한 전기톱으로 아버지와 할아버지의 조각상을 참수함으로써 무례하게 행동했습니다. 저는 초인적 레니가 건물 중 하나에 히틀러 페르소나를 스프레이 페인트로 칠하고 미국이 나머지 지역에 대해 경제적 제재를 가하. 나는 언제든 트럼프 대통령과 마주한 자조선 민주주의 인민공화국을 파괴하려는 초인적인 레인의 대담함에 대한 모든 맹세코. 만약 초인적 레니가가 우리의 소중한 한반도를 파괴하려 하거나 군부 레니가 계속해서 우리의 소중한 대한민국을 위협한다면 나는 대한민국 유주권을 수호하기 위한 새로운 길을 모색할 수밖에 없을 것입니다. 말할 필요도 없이 미국과 우리의 소중한 한반도를 포함한 62개국에서 파괴학당 범죄를 저질렀습니다. 나는 초인적 레니가 조선민주주의 인민공화국 사망자 명단 1위에 오르는데 아무런 문제가 없을 것이다.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. The agreement to put Superhuman Raney on America's most wanted list and the FBI's most wanted list shall never be denied. If any FBI agent resists tracking down the fugitive of 62 countries that vandalized North Korea, then you're fired.
With regards to Superhuman Raney's idea to behead the Kim statues and us, he's risking America into war with North Korea, much like how he risked me at war when he insulted Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un in their countries with graffiti. Superhuman Raney shall be paying the price of his life for it, as well as a massively inflated fine that he owes to the local government for his political scandals abroad.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby assemble this meeting as we have an urgency. I can feel the threat that we are likely to get encompassed by the disciples of Donald Trump and Joe Biden to have my triplet brother Superhuman Raney executed in any way, shape, or form, as well as have me in prison for life without the possibility of parole. That's what these crooks are advocating for. Trump and Biden want me to get in prison and want Superhuman Raney dead, all because Superhuman Raney vandalized Russia and China on one occasion and North Korea on 2 occasions.
What? Donald Trump and Joe Biden want you imprisoned and want to kill your brother? All because your brother vandalized 3 countries to disrespect their leaders? Wow, I can't be surprised about how idiotic these two are, especially since Trump starts trade wars with other countries and Biden breaks every one of his promises, and even got America endangered in the hands of all kinds of horrible people. These 2 extremist dirtbags never deserve to hold the Oval Office in the first place and should never have access to the White House.
That's my plan. You may remember how I got Timothy Smelson fired from the cubicle office, how I got Derek McMiser divorced from his wife, how I got Gene Prejudice sued for the existence of his computer store, how I got Max Killington arrested and sentenced to 5 years behind bars, how I got Chris Wickerman demoted from plant manager to toilet janitor, how I got Dennis Pathetner evicted from the apartment and made him homeless, how I got Vivian Turmos canceled by Alonzo Al-Qaeda, Emily Risenstone, and Delphine Streamington, and how I got John Drugler put on probation on top of fired as CEO. Well, here comes another paradox crime. It'll be bigger than the 8 previous aforesaid. It will be massive, it will be huge, and it will alter American history.
So, you're actually going to accept your fate that Trump and Biden wanted you to suffer? Who will replace you?
I'm not accepting my fate, you dope. I'm actually saying that I'm going to take complicity with Superhuman Raney in doing another paradox crime, which will be big enough to alter American history. We are going to go back in time in the middle of Trump and Biden's first terms and wreck their presidencies.
Well worth it. Trump can take those tariffs deep up his rectum, while Biden can dream about being the richest off of hyperinflations, while in his crib.
Let's not forget that they are so old that they took their driver's tests on a dinosaur.
Let's also not forget to mention how fast their brains are melting from the heat of extremism.
So, what exactly are you and Superhuman Raney going to do to bring downfall towards Donald Trump and Joe Biden?
We are going to frame Donald Trump and Joe Biden for proposing something treasonous against the United States. We are going to frame these two numbskulls for backstabbing American society by threatening American sovereignty.
You know, if you sneak into the White House, you will get caught easily, so your plan will easily get foiled.
Actually, you and Superhuman Raney have excellent strategy when you plot your plans, especially if it involves dog-eat-dog, then it will be a miracle on top of a success.
Here's what it will be like in the alternate timeline you and Superhuman Raney create, after your trip to sabotage Donald Trump and Joe Biden. At first, America in 2025 will have 49 presidents instead of 47 due to you and Superhuman Raney getting 2 presidents removed from office. We all know that, in accordance to the 25th Amendment on the U.S. Constitution, Mike Pence will serve as the 46th president and Kamala Harris will serve as the 48th president in your alternate timeline. Then J.D. Vance will likely be the 49th and incumbent president since this past Inauguration Day.
Oh, with J.D. Vance as president, things could go as bad in the alternate timeline as it is with Trump during his second tenure, or even worse.
No worries. In the alternative timeline that Superhuman Raney and I make, the 2028 election will come out as a tripartisan election with my other triplet brother, Military Raney, running as the centrist candidate against the extremist Democrat J.D. Vance. Miss Artist, don't forget to make satirical propaganda against J.D. Vance when Superhuman Raney and I return to the president upon a completion of the agenda.
Got it. Vance will get what's coming as soon as Trump and Biden lose office thanks to you and Superhuman Raney.
How exactly will you and Superhuman Raney frame these two crumbbrains for treason? How are you going to frame Donald Trump and Joe Biden for threatening American sovereignty?
Remember how Trump wanted to annex Canada as the 51st state? This pretty much inspired me to think about something worse than that. I will be vocally impersonating these two fuckheads, and Superhuman Raney will shapeshift into their doubles and will lip-sync my words with their voices. We are going to frame Donald Trump for allowing Russia to annex the United States into Russian territory. We will also frame Biden for thinking about selling the US to China.
You know, Master Raney, if you try and frame Trump and Biden for those treasonous acts against the United States, it will backfire very easily because they have supporters that will refuse to believe you.
You know, I've come to think of this, but I have thought of the news bias chart. Whichever news media is dedicated to whichever worldview it is, people will believe everything on said news media. This gives me an idea. We will use Fox News to bring Donald Trump his downfall, and we will also use MSNBC News to bring Joe Biden his downfall. They will not only lose office, but also their own supporters, as it will turn them against them. Yeah, that's gonna be a weakness exploited! Comes to show that most news media consists of nothing but liberal or conservative propaganda, depending on where the media is pinpointed on the bias chart.
Oh, I hear that Master Raney is planning another paradox crime. This one is going to be far more serious than the last 8. If going back in time and ruining lives of random, anonymous people by ruining their careers or relationships was one thing, or even going as far as making them homeless from eviction or getting them into legal trouble, then what the actual fuck? This coming paradox crime is going to be too far beyond words, it's going beyond the extent of any of the last 8 that ruined the lives of my friends. He's going to go back in time and sabotage Donald Trump and Joe Biden's presidencies by getting them impeached by Congress and removed from office. What the fuck is Master Raney even thinking?
What the fuck, Master Raney? You're going to commit another paradox crime? Well, not just simply another paradox crime, but one that's to the extent of risking America? Are you fucking serious, Master Raney? You can cause a massive civil war to break out if you and Superhuman Raney ruin Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Well, Donald Trump is going to deserve it for his trade wars and such, but what the actual fuck, Master Raney? You're going to wreck Biden's presidency too? That's totally fucked up beyond words.
Don't you think about taking Biden down from his tenure, Master Raney? If you do, I will sue you for America's GDP per capita.
Master Raney and Superhuman Raney bringing downfall to Donald Trump will lead them to nothing but trouble. I will tell Fox News that these two menaces love war crimes and terrorism.
I'm Master Raney, and I'm going to destroy America by getting Trump removed from office.
This is why Trump deserves more votes than you.
Master Raney, you, your brother, and Donald Trump will have to prepare yourselves to be shot and killed just so I can have your souls.
I fucking swear to God, Master Raney and Superhuman Raney, if you dare get Donald Trump removed from office, I swear, you two will regret it big time.
I swear to God, Master Raney and Superhuman Raney, you dare sabotage Biden's presidency, you two will suffer the consequences.
I will forever be in pure misery if you and your delinquent triplet brother Raney Trump. You two are miserable bastards who are a threat to American society.
This calls for capital execution for the pair of those paradox criminals. Master Raney and Superhuman Raney will deserve execution for making America no longer great again. All hail Donald Trump.
What? If getting me fired from the cubicle office was bad enough, what the fuck? Master Raney and Superhuman Raney ruining Joe Biden? These delinquent paradox hooligans. I swear, if these hooligans destroy Trump, then they will regret it big time. Trump is my hero. Don't these two dare ruin him. Biden does not deserve to lose office. He should have won again last year. No, Trump deserved that victory, but those little varmints will regret it if they ruin his first term.
No. Chris has a point. Biden should have gotten a second term, or Harris should have one. I swear, if these two assholes ruin Biden's term, they will pay.
They better not ruin Donald Trump! How will we make America great again if they do?
Trump won't make America great again, but America would be great again if Harris won. But no, it's Trump that won. What's worse is that the usual paradox hooligan and the police officer murderer are planning on going back in time to destroy Joe Biden's presidency. They are fucking crazy.
No, Trump will make America great again. Not that leftist little varmint who deserved to lose last year. No, Trump is a scoundrel. Harris would have been a lot better since Trump ruined US's bromance with Canada.
Yeah, Dennis. Harris would be a lot better since she's a Democrat and the Dems stand for the rights of the people and support all equality. Republicans fucking suck.
Really? You think Democrats would help with getting my store back? Not a chance. Republicans are awesome, especially Trump. Yeah, Trump is the American hero. Biden and Harris smell like shit. Not true. Trump smells like shit. Trump needs to be shot and killed for resembling Hitler. Trump is not like Hitler. Biden is. Yeah, Timothy. Harris too. No, Derek and Gene, you're both wrong. Timothy has a point. Trump is the enemy of the people. You're wrong, Chris. Those left-wing little varmints are the enemies of the people.
No, Chris is right. Trump is the enemy of the people along with all other Republicans.
No, Donald Trump is the hero of the world.
No, Donald Trump is the enemy of the world, not a hero.
Guys, would you stop arguing over the whole debate in between Trump versus Biden? This isn't very necessary, and we are not here to debate in between liberalism and conservatism. We have an objective to try and stop Master Raney and Superhuman Raney from that big, Massive paradox crime that could result in very dire consequences. I heard the Project Commission predict that if Master Raney and Superhuman Raney sabotage Donald Trump and Joe Biden, then the incumbent president will be J.D. Vance, and in 2028, he will likely run against AOC and Military Raney. Very likely that the upcoming paradox crime that those Raneys are planning on doing will lead to the 2028 presidential election to be tripartisan, with Military Raney being the centrist candidate. This paradox crime coming up will also draw us 5 new allies of our crew. They will be 5 new stick figures. Half of you will be rooting for AOC and half of you will be rooting for J.D. Vance.
Alright, Superhuman Raney, we got an agenda to complete. Trump and Biden are nothing but excuses of US presidents who can't heal America in any way, shape, or form, but instead exacerbate America. I swear, these two are the worst presidents ever, even worse than James Buchanan. I tell you, we gotta put in our efforts to get Military Raney to run in the 2028 presidential election as the centrist. I heard that AOC and J.D. Vance will likely be the combatants in the said election, and AOC and J.D. Vance are both awful. Well, aren't you, Master Raney and Superhuman Raney? This is I, Chief Roman, a Canadian who has heard about Superhuman Raney vandalizing Russia, China, and North Korea and almost starting World War III. But frankly, your other triplet brother, Military Raney, stopped that from happening and was really tactical. I was going to do a presentation to my audience, but I suddenly got interrupted by the Alert Ready system because of the vandalism. Hey people, nice day we're having, eh? Well, let's start.
Attention. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. An American superhuman has invaded Russia, China, and North Korea and vandalized its governmental buildings with graffiti that disses their rulers. Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un are now sending missiles after all U.S. allies, including Canada. Whether you are at home or out in the roads, seek shelter now. This is not a drill. Seek shelter now.
Never mind everyone. Canada is safe now, so is the US and the rest of its allies. Military Raney has threatened to put sanctions on Russia, China, and North Korea and threatened to send his tactical army against Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un for their nations to be destructed. Military Raney of the United States warns the dictators of Russia, China, and North Korea that he has a powerful enough army that if he uses the arsenal to its full extent, their whole nations will end up destroyed in an instant. Everyone, you are all safe, sorry for the false alarm. We will now return you to your regular programming.
Good lord! I was about to grab a double-double from Tim Hortons upon this video, but at least I can still get on with my plan afterwards. On second thought, I have to run to the washroom. I will be right back. Please stand by while I take care of business. This is me, Lord Rex, the British lad who also has an audience. I have memory from the same day that Chief Roman brought up. Master Raney, I will tell you, I faced the same situation that Chief Roman faced that same day in retrospect. Ladies and chops, I have a story to tell. As part of my routinely timetable, I have planned on going on a holiday to Jamaica during the autumn season.
Attention to all. This is not a drill. An American superhuman has trespassed his way across the border in Russia, China, and North Korea to vandalize by graffitiing on their governmental buildings, and the 3 tyrants are retaliating by sending nuclear missiles, and Great Britain is apparently one of the targets of Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un as an act of revenge for being disrespected by the American superhuman's disrespectful graffiti against them. All regular programming has been suspended at this time on all devices due to the emergency that the UK is under, including on your tellies, radios, and mobile phones. Stay tuned for the latest updates that will come later on.
False alarm. Military Raney from the States has threatened Putin, Xi, and Kim with sanctions against their countries if they ever dare to put their plans into motion. Military Raney warns the rulers of Russia, China, and North Korea that his military unit is powerful enough that if he uses the arsenal to its full extent, which he threatens the 3 dictators with, their countries will be destructed into smithereens, thus forcing them to back off. Great Britain is now safe. We will now resume to your regularly timetabled program.
Oh, bloody hell. I was about to shit my trousers from the sound of the emergency alarm. Well, at least me and my flatmates are safe from the threat. Speaking of which, I have to run to the loo for a minute. Well, Chief Roman and Lord Rex, I gotta tell you, I got interrupted by the emergency alarm myself at the same time in retrospect while my triplet brother vandalized these three nations. Audience, I shall release the flashback, but the Facebook post flame war will not be shown in this video, but it will show the meanwhile scenes.
Итак, этот маленький негодяй из Америки подумал, что ему может сойти с рук, нарисовав из баллончика мой гомосексуальный образ прямо на моем замке. Не в мое время этот американский негодяй заплатит за неуважение ко мне граффити. Президент Байден должен подготовиться, потому что я собираюсь запустить ракеты по Соединенным Штатам и их союзникам с помощью своей ядерной армии в качестве мести за то, что сделал сверхчеловек Рейни. Сверхчеловек Рейни сильно пожалеет об этом, как только я доберусь до Соединенных Штатов и всех их союзников. Возможно, первой целью ядерного уничтожения станет студия мастера Рейни, которая находится прямо в США. Если суперчеловек Рейни хочет сыграть со мной в такую игру, то да.
美国现在与中国之间存在一些严重的问题。一位来自各州的当地超人非法进入中华人民共和国，并在人民大会堂上喷涂对我不敬的涂鸦。我已经在全国范围内禁止了小熊维尼，因为他长得像小熊维尼，这遭到了嘲笑。但美国的超人雷尼似乎并不在乎。如果雷尼超人想这么玩，那么美国总统拜登就做好准备。准备好让中国的核武器落在美国及其盟友的脸上。中国军队将部署到雷尼大师工作室，一路到美国用核武器轰炸和破坏。这就是超人雷尼用涂鸦布尊重我应得的报应。
미국의 문제는 무엇인가? 미국은 자국주 민중한 명의조선 민주주의 인민공화국에 불법 입국해나에 대해 신성 모독적인 낙서를 스프레이 페인트로 내가 미국과 그 동맹국들을 손에 넣으면 초인적 레니는 자신의 생명의 대가를 치르게 될 것이며 미국과 그 동맹국들을 향해 수많은 핵무기를 발사할 것입니다. 초인적 레니가 자신이 조국이 한국과 전쟁을 벌이기를 원한다면 그는 그렇게 할 것입니다. 한국에서 발사된 첫 번째 미사일은 마스테레니스튜도를 향해 직격탄을 맞고 산산조 각인할 것이다. 조 바이든 대통령은 초인적 레니 의학을 맛보면서 앞으로 다가오리를 준비할 것입니다.
Honestly, I'm proud of my triplet brother for the efforts put in, giving those three tires a sour taste of their own medicine. I honestly can't wait to see looks on their faces and...
Attention to all.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The superhuman triplet of the trio of the Raney triplet brothers, known to be Superhuman Raney, has invaded the following 3 nations to vandalize their governmental buildings with spray paint of insults of their rulers: Russia, China, and North Korea. Superhuman Raney has invaded Moscow to spray paint a picture of gay Putin on the castle, thus disrespected Vladimir Putin, then invaded Beijing to spray paint a picture of Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh on the Great Hall of the People building, thus disrespected Xi Jinping. Then Superhuman Raney invaded Pyongyang and spray painted a picture of Kim Jong-un with Hitler's hair and mustache and writing Kim Jong-Hitler in Korean on one of the governmental buildings in the Kim Il-sung Square, thus disrespected Kim Jong-un. The armies of Putin, Xi, and Kim are now targeting the residents of the Master Raney studio, as well as the US and its allies, so please take shelter as soon as possible.
Wait a sec. Scratch that motherfucker.
Wait, what?
Scratch that. This is a false alarm. Required action is now cancelled by the interrupted news. The triplet brother of Superhuman Raney, other than Master Raney, yes, Military Raney, is threatening Putin, Xi, and Kim with massive sanctions and is threatening to do something he may or may not regret. Local programming not suspended due to Military Raney's protectionism against the 3 dictators who are about to strike the Master Raney studio with ballistic weapons. Military Raney warns Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un that he has a huge army of people and that his military base is stronger and more powerful than that of even the US Army by somewhere in between 10 times and 50,000 times, depending on the soldier and trooper in Military Raney's army alone. Military Raney warns the rulers of Russia, China, and North Korea that his army can destruct their whole nations in less than a second and threatens the 3 dictators that he will use the arsenal to its full extent if they refuse to back off. So everyone, you are all safe. You can thank Military Raney for protecting all of you from those dictators' threats. Sorry for that false alarm. We will now return you to your local programming.
Wow, that was awkward. In all honesty, I thought I was also going to shit myself too because of the threats made by Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un after Superhuman Raney giving those 3 tyrants a sour taste of their own medicine. It was certainly worth my other triplet brother using his strong tactic against those 3 tyrants. Speaking of tyrant, your president wants to annex my country into the 51st state of yours. Well, he ain't my president per se. He, along with Joe Biden, is a total crook who is basically wrecking America. Well, Chop, President Trump is crazy. Everything that wanker says is bloody rubbish. He starts trade wars with other countries, and I feel that he might start one with mine eventually. I feel the same premonition. He was even trying to serve a 3rd term, which is unconstitutional in my country. So, what are you going to do about it, eh? Something I'll never regret. Going back in time in complicity with Superhuman Raney and sabotaging the presidency of Donald Trump during his 1st term, then traveling 4 years onwards to pull the same stunt on Biden, thus ruin him next. How exactly are you going to attain that? Exploiting the weakness of the news bias chart. Whichever news media dedicated to whichever worldview, Donald Trump is going to get the sour taste of his own medicine when we frame him for selling the US out to Russia. You know, that's worse than Trump's desperate attempt at annexing Canada. Worse for both your people and my people, since your people will be living under Vladimir Putin and my people will be jeopardized by that tyrant. What exactly will you do to Biden afterwards? What are you going to frame him for? We are going to frame Biden for selling the US out to China, as well as frame him for unbearable inflations and whatnot. How will you succeed? Leave it to me. Perhaps I have committed paradox crimes against 8 anonymous people already. Getting Timothy Smelson fired for insulting the boss. Getting Derek McMiser divorced for crashing the computer. Getting Gene Prejudiced store shut down for false advertising. Getting Max Killington arrested for emailing a threat to a co-worker. Getting Chris Wickham demoted from plant manager to toilet janitor for denouncing the boss on the intercom. Getting Dennis Pathetner evicted for sending a nasty email to the landlord and shattering the windows with excessive noise. Getting Vivian Turdmose cut ties with for writing hurtful diary entries about her friends. And getting Jonathan Drugler put on probation for making a threat on the intercom at his corporate office. Wow, that's unbelievable. I did 2 paradox crimes. I got a guy named Carter Trickson withdrawn from a university for writing a threat to one of his classmates, and I got a guy named Grayson Wyman fined $5,000 for disturbing the peace by framing him for making loud noises as several neighbors can hear him, which was only a summary offense. I did full paradox crimes. First, I got Arthur Williams sentenced to community service for common assault. Second, I got George Thompson sentenced to 10 years for fraud. Third, I got Edgar Johnson fired from his job at the sweet shop for being rude to customers. Fourth and finally, I costed Harriet Winston custody of a daughter by framing her for child abuse while performing child protective services. Wow, we are all paradox criminals. We ruin random people's lives simply by framing. So far, I'm at 8 lives damaged, and as soon as I finish the agenda, the life sabotage toll will climb up to 10, and I'm honestly looking forward to the end of the agenda since my other triplet brother, Military Raney, will be the centrist candidate in the 2028 presidential election, and I honestly have faith in him being the next US president. You know, since we are paradox criminals, I thought I should go back and tie myself in complicity with my triplet brother, Superhuman Roman, and sabotage Justin Trudeau's premiership. Then hopefully by the next federal election, my other triplet brother, Commander Roman, gets to be the leader of the centrist party of Canada and gets elected the most seats and becomes the new prime minister. I shall do another paradox crime too, but against Boris Johnson, ruining his premiership. Hopefully after the paradox crime and complicity with my triplet brother, Transcendent Rex, that King Charles III appoints my other triplet brother, General Rex, as a leader of the centrist party, and that party wins the most seats in the next general election. Well, it seems that we all have something on our agendas that involves strategizing our countries to heal uphill. We shall fulfill these achievements, shall we? You're right. It's about time to give those idiots a sour taste of their own medicine, especially Justin Trudeau for all the controversies he caused Canada during his premiership before he got replaced with Mark Carney. Superhuman Roman and I have to go back in time and frame Trudeau for letting Canada get annexed as the 51st state. Transcendent Rex and I have to go back in time and frame Boris Johnson for letting the UK get annexed by the US as its colony. Boris Johnson was nothing but a controversial piece of rubbish. Great. Be sure to exploit the weakness of the news bias. That way you'd succeed getting those crime ministers dismissed from Parliament. With all that said, let's get on to the agenda.
Hey, I don't recall uninvited guests in here.
Now let's get on to the plan. That orange maniac won't survive this demise. Alright, bro, we have prepared for a moment one of two to come. Get ready. Military Raney has put us on the agenda in order for him to solve America's problems. With this camera synced to Fox News, Trump's downfall shall come around. Alright, time to get this sucker started.
Attention, America. I have an essential announcement as this comes with essential news. During my talks with Vladimir Putin, an agreement has been made to settle the whole debate in between the US and Russia by allowing Putin to take the entire United States. You all have heard the United States will be annexed by Russia and will become Russian territory soon hereafter. Now is a good time that we all start learning the Russian language and the Cyrillic alphabet, because you will all be living in the Russian Federation in its new territory.
What the fuck? He's such a fucking traitor. Selling us out to Russia and putting us all under Putin's regime is how you're gonna make America great again? I can't believe he would have the audacity to stab us in the backs like that and take this treason on another level. Well, my whole family was right about him. He is nothing but a maniac who can't do shit right. Time to turn to Pence instead. I have faith in him taking over.
Having America annexed by Russia into being a part of the Russian Federation under Putin has been the only way to maintain peace and prosperity for the people and for the nation.
What? I thought he was a hero. Why the betrayal?
There will be no other solution apart from handing this country over to Putin for the sake of peace and prosperity. It's absolutely best that everyone starts practicing with learning the Russian language, and the Cyrillic script as Russian will be America's official language, because Russia is taking the American land as part of the agreement I had with Vladimir Putin.
This is outrageous. How could Trump sell us out to Russia?
From now on, we are no longer supporting Trump. Time to turn to Pence. He is way more trustworthy.
To conclude this message, I wish you all luck in becoming Russians as America is ceasing to exist as part of the agreement with Putin. That's all I got.
I really can't wait to see the look on Donald Trump's face once he sees his charisma and popularity destroyed.
Donald Trump, you're fired!
Americans deserve to know that Donald Trump has manipulated me into putting him over my oath to the Constitution. Anyone who puts themselves above the Constitution never deserves to be president.
Perhaps this shall stabilize the conditions of America. Hopefully the situation doesn't get any worse than it did last year. Now to cast that vote. Damn it! Will this do any good?
What the? How did the pair of you come into the White House? You two aren't even permitted access here.
Time for the plan of action that will disallow the senile motherfucker to survive their demise. With this camera that's synced to MSNBC News, this will totally destroy Joe Biden and his reputation, similar to how Fox News camera destroyed that of Donald Trump in retrospect. Get ready, bro. We have a sour taste of medicine to give to Biden of his own.
Here is my message for all the American people, as this is very essential news for everyone. I have made a deal with the Federal Reserve Bank to boost the American economy by committing to a hyperinflation. Here it is, as of right now. All prices, all billings, all expenses will be put into effect by a 15,400% inflation, and will be for strengthening the American economy. Once everyone goes into significant enough debt from the 15,400% inflation, I will be handing this nation over to the People's Republic of China as part of the deal with Xi Jinping.
How outrageous! I thought Biden was a hero. Well, I know Trump was villainous, and I can't forget how he was about to sell us out to Russia. But what the fuck? Biden is putting himself next in line being such a traitor. Well, time to turn to Kamala Harris. She'll do much better than him.
Now is the time that we all start learning Mandarin Chinese. We are going to be part of China one day, and it may very well happen soon that we are all under Chinese authority.
Now, why would Biden think that giving America over to China is a good idea? Apparently, he's making himself the new Donald Trump by selling us out to China, the way Trump was going to sell us out to Russia.
Our prices, our economy, our enterprises are not doing America good enough. So it's time for hyperinflations to begin. That way we are all going out to China on our grounds.
So, he wants us all to become communists and live under Xi Jinping? Way to ruin democracy!
All faith in the United States has been lost and has sunk under the core. Capitalism is not the way. A 15,400% inflation shall bring an end to the disparity of American capitalism and shall hand us to China for prosperity.
That's not prosperity. That's treason. Why would you hand us over to China? I think it's time for Harris to take the oath and for Biden to get what's coming to him.
America was never really meant to be a communist country. You know what? If that's what Biden wants, then I'm done supporting him. He's just a traitor.
Wow. Biden is as bad as Donald Trump now. Now I can't wait for a movie to be released that's satirically based on Trump and Biden.
Well, I absolutely knew that Biden was going to be a horrible president, even as horrible as Trump when it comes to this. I knew he was so radical.
To bring the message to a conclusion, prepare to learn the Chinese language and its script. Get ready for significant debt from the 15,400% inflation, and get ready to be handed over to China. America, as you know it, is ceasing to exist because of the deal made with the Fed and Xi Jinping. One more thing. I have a message for Tara Reid. I will stalk you everywhere you go, and I will stalk you in your sleep and become your biggest nightmare. That's all I have to say.
I can't wait to see the look on Biden's face once he's seen the sour taste of his own medicine, wrecking his charisma and his reputation. This ballot here is looking very suspicious. Kamala Harris doesn't have the charisma to maintain the trust from the American people, and J.D. Vance is basically a Benito Mussolini wannabe. I'm starting to acquire dead serious trust issues because of the whole dispute between the left and right wings. Ooh, there is a way to hold my end of the bargain. Chase Oliver it is. Well, here I am back in the present, and I'd be willing to see what changes have been made.
Oh, you'll see some changes, alright. The changes that are so significant to the entire world as you have committed a big enough paradox crime that altered American history. You, in complicity with Superhuman Raney, going back in time on 2 occasions tampering with the American presidential system by destroying the presidencies of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Once you return to the present, you have suddenly appeared in stick figure format like us, except you're the only human around here in disguise of a stick figure. You have caused so much hysteria around America, and you have also caused more political tensions to occur. With J.D. Vance as the incumbent president, thanks to your paradox crime, he has become the new Donald Trump and is the new personality cult of America.
Are you fucking serious, Master Raney? You went back in time and destroyed 2 presidencies? Well, perhaps destroying Donald Trump's presidency was absolutely one thing, but what the actual fuck, Master Raney? You also destroyed Joe Biden's presidency? What the fuck did Biden even do to deserve it? You are fucked in the head since you even demolished Joe Biden's reputation.
For ruining Joe Biden's presidential term and getting him removed from office in complicity with Superhuman Raney, you and Superhuman Raney will both be taken to court, and I will sue the pair of you for the world's gross domestic product. I can't believe you destroyed Joe Biden when he did not deserve it.
I swear, motherfucker. I will vent about you on Fox News for ruining Donald Trump's first term. How could you destroy the Golden Republican's presidential term? Frankly, your paradox crime has gotten J.D. Vance to be the new Donald Trump, but that won't stop me from writing a venting article about you on Fox News.
I'm Master Raney. I deserve a denouncing article about me on Fox News.
Yeah, you destroyed Donald Trump. You get what's coming, so get pulverized by J.D. Vance.
What the fuck, Master Raney? You and Superhuman Raney can't give me your souls. Also, Donald Trump will soon give me his soul once his sentence ends. But why did you ruin Joe Biden? You, Superhuman Raney, Military Raney, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance need to be shot in the head so that I can have your souls.
Are you fucking serious, Master Raney? You went in complicity with Superhuman Raney in a paradox crime to sabotage Donald Trump's reputation. I hope you get pulverized to death by President J.D. Vance.
Joe Biden did not deserve to lose office, you idiot. Ruining Donald Trump's first term was one thing, but it was absolutely wrong for you to ruin Joe Biden. How fucking dare you?
Destroying Donald Trump's first term in complicity with Superhuman Raney was absolutely uncalled for. I wanted to spend all these days crying to a corner for 6 long years at least until the inauguration of J.D. Vance.
You and Superhuman Raney need to fucking jump off a cliff and die. That's what happens when you destroy Donald Trump.
That's not all the stick figures I have. There's 5 more to bring your comeuppance for tampering with presidential American history. First, meet Miss Radical Woke, one of who is pissed at you for ruining Joe Biden's presidency.
You capitalism-loving Nazi. How could you go back in time with Superhuman Raney to destroy Joe Biden? You are absolutely disgraceful for ruining Biden's presidency. Once AOC gets elected, you will be paying the price, you capitalist piece of horseshit.
Meet Officer Corruption, who wants to arrest and detain you for ruining Donald Trump's first term.
You think that you can get away with tampering with Trump's first term? No. You and Superhuman Raney are going to face massive beatings and will be taken off to a forced concentration camp.
Now meet Reprimandina, who is also pissed at you for destroying Joe Biden's presidency.
Master Raney, you selfish little shit. You have absolutely no right destroying Joe Biden's presidency, since Biden never deserved the downfall after all. You and Superhuman Raney are not cool for that.
Now meet Master Ego, who is also pissed at you for sabotaging Joe Biden's presidency.
Since you destroyed Joe Biden's presidency, you are a pile of trash. I will one day be president of the United States and will be declared the absolute best president in the entire world, since I deserve more power.
Lastly, meet Captain Reactionary, who is absolutely pissed at you for ruining Donald Trump's first term.
What the fuck, Master Raney? You ruined Donald Trump's first term? You had absolutely no right doing that. But frankly, J.D. Vance became the new Donald Trump and now America is coming to being great again. All hail to J.D. Vance. All hail to J.D. Vance.
Now you see, you and Superhuman Raney have made this mess. You and Superhuman Raney going back to 2019 and 2023 to sabotage Donald Trump and Joe Biden's first terms just for military Raney's sake, so you got what's coming to you.
Well, in which case, I shall avenge the paradox consequences as a result. Donald Trump and Joe Biden were 2 no-good crooks who deserve to be thrown out of office thanks to myself and Superhuman Raney. Ain't that right, Miss Teacher?
Absolutely. The Project Commission has gathered info that Donald Trump was originally implementing tariffs on every country in the entire world as well as trying to annex Canada as the 51st state, and Joe Biden on the other hand has broken many promises, including the promise to not pardon Hunter for his serious crimes. Biden has governed a radical agenda throughout his original 4-year term despite promising to be moderate, but he apparently broke that promise as well as focusing mostly on leftism, which proved him radical.
Well, if you thought that was a good idea, just you wait, the consequences of your reckless act is awaiting.
Since J.D. Vance is now the incumbent president thanks to our paradox crime against Donald Trump to say the least, he's got so much charisma in the Republican Party. From what I discovered in the Democratic primaries, it appears that AOC has been getting so much charisma. Even more charisma than the previous president and the predecessor. This is a sign that the 2028 presidential election and premonition is AOC versus J.D. Vance, which both of them are fucking awful and we need to work so hard to sabotage their charisma. But how? You see, our supplies of anti-AOC and anti-Vance merchandise, also pro-Raney merchandise, which shall promote charisma for my triplet brother. This has to be a way to strive for the next presidential election to be tripartisan, since the next election is likely going to be far leftist versus far rightist, assuming we don't strive for our desired achievement.
Perhaps Vance wouldn't mind being the next Donald Trump in an extra way, but being the loss of charisma and losing vast majority of his supporters like Trump did.
It sure would be funny if someone could pull down Vance's pants during his campaign speech. That'd be a sour taste of his own medicine.
I swear, if AOC or J.D. Vance win the next election, then I swear, there will be an unholy retribution to come down upon them.
If AOC was president, America would still smell like shit, but since J.D. Vance is incumbent, America already smells like shit, so once military Raney takes the oath of office, America will smell a large number of times better than it already does.
I would honestly wonder why.
It's because I'm trying to turn America into the Soviet Union.
And I'm trying to turn America into Nazi Germany.
Well, never mind then, there's our answer.
Down with AOC and down with J.D. Vance, both of each are extremist crooks who don't deserve an electoral victory. It's actually military Raney who deserves to win the next election, as centrism is the only way to heal America from the chaos.
Good thing that we have all this anti-AOC and anti-Vance merchandise supplied. We are advocating to make America centrist again, that way we'd actually be able to move forward.
What the fuck are these revolutionary centrist nimrods doing now? After that delinquent paradox hooligan and his powerful triplet brother went back in time to sabotage Trump and Biden and got them replaced with their running mates from the elections they won, he along with the naughty orange and blue brats, Mad Shit, King Slandermouth, Captain Imposter, and that protesting freak are operating a sales stand of satirical political merchandise that's pro-centrism. Well, it's about time I have a word with that delinquent fuckface with a massive piece of my mind.
This shall be a way to show that AOC and JD Vance are nothing but crooks who only gain charisma from conspiracy and rhetoric. Making an election come about through a far leftist versus far rightist is such a form of anti-centrism. It fucking hurts.
What the fuck kind of shit do you fuckheads think you are doing? Selling a bunch of unnecessary merchandise that involves nothing but a bunch of blasphemy? Well, Paradox Hooligan, I don't get why you thought that this kind of shit is necessary.
We're striving for the way to make America normal again, you communism and fascism lover. What the fuck does it even look like?
You're basically sparking global conflict and rising tensions with this type of dumbassery. You're going to get everyone pissed off enough that they want to kill you. I can't wait for AOC and Vance supporters to kill you for selling blasphemous merchandise against them. You'll get what's coming, you revolutionary centrist delinquent.
Oh, I would welcome that one day, communazi. I would welcome to hear some asinine BS from those far left and far right wing dipshits. The strong demand for socialism or nationalism has been quite cancerous throughout all this time, motherfucker.
Yeah, you no good extremist advocator. Why don't you take those wings of extremism and shove them deep up your ass?
I'll be quiet, mad shit. What you guys are doing is not the answer. Being so oppressive towards AOC and JD Vance by selling hate merchandise of them is not going to solve your problems. In fact, this is not free enterprise.
So I guess you wouldn't mind if the environment's air conditioning feels like Siberia with its breeze reaching deep down into the human heart, getting it all frostbitten. That's what happens when you fail to turn off the AOC.
Cut that crap, King Slandermouth. Just you wait until Miss Radical Woke comes to berate your slanderous ass.
If we can't turn off the AOC, then we won't be able to pants Vance, because our hearts would wind up frostbitten from the breeze that's as frigid as the Siberian climate, which would also result in a permanent ice age.
Oh, so you want to pants JD Vance, huh? Just you wait until you receive the backlash that you deserve.
How about you take that backlash and shove it all up your ass, you no good excuse of an existing piece of shit?
Really? You're going to continue with this bullshit?
Well, newsflash fucker. I will always carry on regardless of how many times you try to stop us.
Yeah, bitch. Why don't you piss off and go worship AOC and JD Vance like gods in your secret domain, fuck nugget?
I take it that we are going on a field trip to Utopia.
Guess man, there is no field trip. We are flying a blimp to endeavor for America to become centrist by campaigning for Military Raney's presidency for the next election, which will require efforts pushed for said election to become tripartisan, since Military Raney will be in the centrist party of America. We have to convince the people that AOC and JD Vance are two of the worst influences on the people, as they are truly conspiracists.
You know, we're not going to succeed making the next election a tripartisan election, as America is limited to only two major political parties.
Oh, I'm certain that this is a good chance to get the next presidential election to have a third party, that being dedicated to moderate centrism, with Military Raney being the candidate. So we are doing this well enough in advance that we'll achieve getting Military Raney in the next election. It ain't unconstitutional.
This can trigger Congress and JD Vance to ratify the 28th Amendment, limiting every election two parties maximum, strictly Democratic and Republican. The government's got some serious balls to retaliate.
That may be possible, but it's actually not probable. Ratifying an amendment like that will cause a rebellion, so that's what's making the probability of that amendment very low.
Optimus Stick has a point, Pacistic. ratifying and enforcing an amendment on the Constitution that puts significant enough restrictions on the ballots that only allows the voters to only choose in between Democrats and Republicans is very unconstitutional, since liberals and conservatives are not the only two types of people in America. There also exists the moderates, who are basically centrist and meet in the middle in between the two wings. If taking minor parties off the ballots was the 28th Amendment on the U.S. Constitution, only giving the choices in between liberal Democrats and conservative Republicans, then the outcome will come about through a huge rebellion, mainly by the moderate centrists, which I know that Master Raney in which instance would join along with Miss Activist. Because an amendment putting on such a restriction on the voting ballots is very bigoted, and it hurts the moderates and independents if an amendment like that were to be enforced, leading to a protest to demand the amendment to be repealed.
I would certainly leave the States and get citizenship elsewhere as an immigrant if an amendment were to mandate something like that.
If anything, I would sneak into the Democratic Party convention to play the Soviet anthem to mock the far leftists in said party, as well as play the Nazi German anthem in the Republican Party convention to mock the far rightists in said party. That'd be my way to avenge that kind of unconstitutional amendment.
I would make satirical punchlines about the person who would dare to pass an amendment like that. Master Roaster and Master Vocalist would have to be on stage with me to give that kind of person a sour taste of their own medicine.
It's a good thing that I got the two likely candidates in the next election put on the envelope of this blimp.
Damn, Master Vengeance doesn't realize how horrible AOC and JD Vance are. Just look at how they gain charisma in their primaries. Conspiracy. Isn't that nuts? I've heard that half of his alliance are advocating for a far-left progressive America while the other half are advocating for a far-right nationalist America. Center! 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 We don't need those extremist crooks running our nation. Well, except one of them is already incumbent at this time. Ooh, we got our first customer. It's my cousin. I heard that you're having a sale of centrist merchandise, typically opposing the communist AOC and fascist JD Vance. Yeah, and Military Raney, that who we know, is planning on getting charisma in the centrist party of America. Just enough charisma that he gets to be the third nominee in the 2028 election, working hard enough well in advance with the time we got. I'm taking part in striving for the success for my Triplet Brothers privilege by selling all this pro-Military Raney and anti-AOC and anti-JD Vance merchandise, and Superhuman Raney is out there flying a blimp with Military Raney's campaign on the envelope. Would you like anything that's anti-AOC and anti-Vance? Certainly. I'll take the balloons, the bumper stickers, yard signs, and banners.
Wow, you would really take all the type of merchandise that we are selling? I'm so amazed that you would oppose these two crooks at such an extent.
Absolutely, and I'm going to post a bunch of satirical posts about AOC and JD Vance on LinkedIn afterwards. This will be worth a sour taste of their own medicine once posted. Anyways, one of each, that'll be $8. You're good to go, cuz. Thanks. And I stole that money from my boss as part of my revenge for trying to manipulate us into supporting JD Vance at work. Damn, what a right-wing fascist that your boss of yours is. I know, and I spray-painted a swastika on his office door to satirize the living shit out of him for that kind of behavior. Ooh, just he waits until he sees the sour taste of his own medicine that he got. No matter how Mr. Unprofessional earned the money, but that fascist boss of his deserved what he got as a result.
Wow, I couldn't imagine how much of a neo-Nazi that Mr. Unprofessional's boss is. His desired work attire must be the Hitler outfit.
Imagine that. The current CEO of the United Corporation must have the joy to stick his arm straight upward with his hand aligned to his arm and his fingers together like the neo-Nazi he is.
That neo-Nazi CEO had no business trying to manipulate people into following his views. That biased dipshit needs a sour taste of his own medicine one way or another.
Hey. What do you seven think you're doing?
Selling a bunch of blasphemous merchandise. Well, you guys are sadistic commies.
What is this blasphemous and misogynistic fuckery against AOC? How the fuck could you be so crude towards her? Also, how the fuck could you campaign for a centrist form of government? Centrism, as you know it, leads to fascism.
Whoa there, you radical leftist dweeb. What the fuck is with that irrational and asinine fishhook theory?
Well, comparing us anti-capitalists with right-wing fascists is absolutely offensive and is very oppressive, so you centrists are truly fascist for being so oppressive towards AOC and us anti-capitalists.
This dumb fuckery against President Vance needs to be thrown into a fucking fire pit. You are like a bunch of fucking communist crybabies who can't understand shit because of how horrible you are to J.D. Vance. All hail to J.D. Vance. All hail to J.D. Vance.
How about all hail military Raney, motherfucker?
No, that corrupt motherfucker who wants to demolish the chances of American socialism does not deserve to be lionized, you fuckwit. The one who deserves lionization from the people is someone who you're shitting on, making you a huge misogynistic fascist freak.
Oh, excuse me, Marxist freak. But AOC does not deserve to be honored respectively, as neither does J.D. Vance. Center! Center! Center!
As I said, you centrist dipshit, the horseshoe theory is so offensive and so controversial, therefore you must know that the fishhook theory is absolutely legit, knowing that centrism leads to fascism.
What the fuck kind of shit is that? That's fucking horse shit. The fishhook theory is nothing but asinine horse shit. Centrists are nothing like fascist fuckwagon. It's crystal clear that military Raney is the hero of America, whose title will one day reveal itself as legit, and that AOC and JD Vance can go fuck themselves so hard.
Yeah, and why don't you two just piss off and go worship AOC and JD Vance in your private sanctuaries, you smelly extremist nuisances?
Hey, I hate JD Vance, thank you very much, and I really want him dead. If you really think that military Raney will fix America, then you are dead wrong. It's AOC that will, and military Raney much resembles JD Vance.
Bitch, please, why don't you take that fish hook and shut it deep up your radical leftist ass, then go pray to the communist AOC that you want everyone to be the same.
No, don't tell me what to do, capitalist slandermouth.
Yeah, it's no surprise that you want America to become a communist nation, which makes you as horrible as Captain Reactionary, who wants America to become a fascist nation that resembles Hitler and Mussolini.
Hey, stop comparing me with Captain Reactionary. He's nothing but a neo-Nazi who wants to manipulate America into suppressing the most mattering social groups.
Oh, that's illegal immigrants, you dirty inbred motherfucker. We can't be having illegal immigrants in America, and we shall exterminate them to the execution chambers for entering the country illegally. All hail to J.D. Vance. All hail to J.D. Vance.
Oh, stop sticking your arm out like that, you neo-Nazi JD Vance supporter. Of course, illegal immigration can be problematic, but I know what you absolutely mean. Anyone who isn't from America, even if documented and granted full citizenship, you are still suppressive towards them, you racist, xenophobic dirtbag.
America first. America shall one day conquer all other land and make it all America all over the world. All hail to J.D. Vance. All hail to J.D. Vance.
Really? You're going to advocate for a worldwide capitalist America? It's absolutely no surprise you love J.D. Vance so much that you want America to be a worldwide super nation.
And it's no surprise how you worship AOC as your precious goddess to the extent that you want to overthrow capitalism and make America a Stalinist nation.
Yes, that way we maintain equality and all fairness for every citizen, as well as highly tax the rich for everyone to be economically even.
Damn. I can see why you two are so indistinguishable. This further justifies the horseshoe theory.
Hey, stop comparing me with Captain Reactionary. It's you who deserves to be compared with Captain Reactionary and his god J.D. Vance, you no good centrist capitalism lover.
Oh, what's the matter? Are you feeling insulted that your precious goddess is liable to lose so easily? Your tantrum over that would make a good clip for live TV.
Hey, what the fuck is so funny, you naughty orange brat?
The biggest probability of you throwing a tantrum over AOC losing to military Raney, thus being compared with JD Vance, who's as bad as your goddess.
That's not fucking funny, you centrist assholes. Stop comparing AOC with JD Vance right now, you capitalist fiends.
Capitalist fiends? LOL. You must be so cranky enough that you must be holding a grudge over Stalin's defeat in the Cold War.
It's funny how communists like you think that you advocate for human rights, yet you pretty much break the promise to support human rights by constantly abusing them.
You really sound like a fucking traitor, getting all mad about the Soviet Union's dissolution upon the Cold War because of capitalism being the dominant superpower is not going to solve your problems. You no good excuse of an existing entity.
No, American capitalism has been a huge mistake to begin with.
Let me rephrase these words for you.
I'm Miss Radical Woke. I support the abuse of human rights and crimes against humanity like the left-wing extremist I am.
Well said.
Stop fucking mocking me, you capitalist little shit. Stop calling me an extremist, you offensive and oppressive pile of horse shit.
Oh please, you're only making yourself and your precious goddess look more like idiotic crooks.
Yeah, and why don't you go take that hammer and sickle and shove them up your ass so deep that you're on an anal period?
I swear, if military Raney wins the next election or if JD Vance wins, I fucking swear, I will rip up the fucking Constitution, and I swear on my soul that I will kill both military Raney and JD Vance.
Well, tough luck with that.
I fucking swear, Master Raney. If your brother wins the 2028 presidential election or if AOC wins, then I'm going to invade Washington, D.C. and burn down the legislative capitol and kill every congressman with the fire, as well as AOC and military Raney.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that you and Miss Radical Woke are generally extremists.
Stop comparing me with Captain Reactionary. You're the one who's resembling him because of your despicable centrism.
So you're going to burn down the Capitol building if JD Vance loses? Well then, I guess you should also burn down your own home as the next part of your agenda.
No, it'll only be the Capitol building that will burn down into ashes if Vance doesn't win. All hail to JD Vance. All hail to JD Vance.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for hearing me out. Now we understand all the trouble and all the drama that America has gone through over the years. We are all aware of how Trump wanted to sell us out to Russia and how Biden wanted to sell us out to China in retrospect. Well, it ain't gonna happen. The U.S. is never meant to be annexed into another nation's territory.
Really, military Raney? You're going to believe that Trump and Biden did what your brothers framed him for? I would rather either have AOC or Vance as president upon the next election, seeing that you're passing the framing off as true and genuine.
This has to be addressed in every way, shape, or form. Believe it or not, the Democratic and Republican parties in the U.S. have been infested with extremism. There exist the cancerous progressives and populists in those parties, and they are the reason that America is going downhill.
Seriously? You're advocating for suppression against progressive movements? It's supposed to help the people, so why are you making a huge deal out of it?
Yeah, military Raney. You dare suppress progressivism, then I will sue you for every cent in America.
I hope you get denounced on Fox News for advocating for the end of populism, you no good son of a bitch.
I'm military Raney, and I want to end populism by being stupid. Do we want to dramatically raise the minimum wage high enough to result in employment curtailment or unemployment? Or even stabilize the minimum wage at just $7.25 to this point? Didn't think so. I have looked carefully on the inflation calculator to see how much $7.25 in 2009 is today. It's not even $11. So right now, $11 would sound like a decent rate to be the federal minimum wage. We need to gradually increase the federal minimum wage at a rate that corresponds with annual inflations. That way the poverty rate declines without employment curtailment.
Really? You're not going to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 to $20. You and your triplet brothers can give me your souls.
What the fuck, military Raney?
Are you trying to stop America from being great again? I hope you will lose to J.D. Vance in the next presidential election.
What the fuck? You're still making the minimum wage too low and not helping the people out of poverty. It's $15 minimum, that's appropriate.
I swear, if you beat J.D. Vance, I will cry to a corner in your misery. You would be the worst president ever, worse than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
I hope you get assassinated by J.D. Vance and his supporters. Bitch.
Also, Obamacare has been getting absolutely stale throughout the years, getting so expensive to afford health insurance and adequate medical treatment, causing some people to become naturally unlucky. Well, I say no more Obamacare. We need to replace Obamacare with Raney Care. That to adapt to changes that will naturally help save lives and improve American democracy. This will mandate that free healthcare will be for when an individual is in a life-threatening emergency, stabilizing the cost of health insurance for a minimum of 10 years, gradually going up by 0.1%, and also gradually increasing the coverage costs, gradually willing to cover more costs. That way, less people will be left with no choice but to pay out of pocket time after time.
Well, there you have it, folks. Centrist Party's presidential candidate, Military Raney, advocating for the overthrow of progressivism and populism, gradual increase of the federal minimum wage that corresponds with the annual economic inflation, rather than raising it to $15 like the progressive Democrats ask for, and replacing Obamacare with Raney Care. Be sure to visit Military Raney's website for more information about Raney Care. We now take you live to Hunter Biden, who is not very impressed with Military Raney advocating for no more progressivism.
So, if Military Raney thinks that he can get away with his idea to suppress against progressive movements, which are most certainly supposed to help the people live their lives, then he must think again. How f***ing dare he badmouth my father and his presidency and compare it with Trump's? If that's how Military Raney is going to be, then I am going to go on crack and invade his whereabouts in order to find his That way I can shoot his fucking brains out. I will fucking assassinate the living shit out of that suppressive motherfucker for bad-mouthing my dad's presidency and saying that it's like Trump's, as well as for threatening Obamacare and for opposing the progressive movements. That way that stupid Military Raney won't be in control of America at any point by any chance.
That's Hunter Biden's message to all of you watching. Hunter is not too happy that Military Raney criticized President Biden's presidency from some time before he caused his own downfall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another opponent apart from the Communist Democrats who might be AOC or Kamala Harris, but this aforementioned opponent is striving for third-party candidacy. That's Military Raney of the Centrist Party of America, who has gotten so charismatic in a very unfair and dishonest kind of way. He may be able to outdo AOC and Kamala Harris, as well as any other potential Democrat who runs against me, but he certainly won't overpower me, seeing that he wants to make America boring again with his spoof campaign and whatnot.
Well, if it isn't J.D. Vance, the supposed murderer of the Pope, also known as the new Donald Trump in terms of quote-unquote making America great again, striving for his second term in which he doesn't deserve. Not saying that AOC nor Kamala Harris deserve a victory. I'm saying that Military Raney deserves the office of 4 years. Well, time to sneak up behind him and pull down his pants.
In the meantime, Military Raney can try and get America to go his way with his boring speeches while I do what I do to make America great again. What the? Versus, some Military Raney supporter went ahead and took the audacity to pants me to make a centrist scoundrel look so important. Just the guy waits until I have my justice.